New Jersey, we have an opportunity now to let our voices be heard at the ballot box. I am Philip Rizzo, host of Jersey Rising podcast and the point man for the new PAC, Jersey Rising. Today, we have a special treat. We are going to have candidates that have been endorsed by the PAC. We are giving, it's a young PAC, so we have given a limited amount of funds of whatever we could. We have also scheduled some door knocking. I personally have been out door knocking with the endorsed candidates, and so we're excited to introduce them to you, not only by name, but also having them on the show today. And so let's get right into it. We don't want this to be super long, but we do have candidates coming on, and so I want to make sure that we don't drag this out and make it long. We want you to know who they are, how to get into contact with them, and how to give them support as needed. Last week, we discussed fear as a controlling agent. We also introduced and showed you the mugs, the Patriot member mugs. Today, I've got the founding member mugs. Last week, I was drinking water. This week, I'm drinking water. And so looking forward to another great podcast and having these candidates on with us today. And so we're going to start with our Assembly candidate, Chris Barranco. He is running in Legislative District 26. He's a first-time candidate. He is an electrician by trade. He is a solid family man. I've spent some time with him, did some door knocking with him. And so, Chris, I'm glad that you're on the show with us today. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? Let us know why you've decided to run for Assembly in Legislative District 26.
So why did I decide to run? It's a very simple question, probably one of the more common questions. In 2008, with the credit crunch that we endured as a country, I made the vow to myself that I would no longer just sit back and take the government that we're given. It's pretty obvious by what occurred that the credit crunch of 2008, 2009 was created by people in the government, whether they be in the bureaucracy or elected folks. I wanted the opportunity to be in the room. I wanted to say, hey, what we're doing here is going to hurt us, or what we're doing here is beneficial to the greatest number of people, which is what I think government is supposed to do. I believe in the citizen legislator. I don't believe that government is an enterprise. I believe that it's a calling. So I wanted to take that philosophy and bring it with me into office and expose it to those who run the party. So far it's worked out. It's taken a lot of energy and time, but that's the reason why I decided to run, and I will take that with me through every moment of my time in office should I win. So I hope that suffices for everyone.
That's awesome, Chris. Thank you so much for sharing that with our audience. And so we'll have people, we're going to direct them to you. Tell the audience where they can find out information for you or how they can help here in the final push through the finish line.
So how to contact me. First of all, I want to thank everyone in advance for whatever help I can get from anyone. So how to contact me is simple. So there's two ways. The first way is my personal email address, which is my first initial and my last name, which is cbarranco00@gmail.com. I also tell people a very good way to get in touch with me is to text me. My personal cell phone number is 973-897-1873. So either of those two ways, and I promise I will get back to you as soon as possible. And once again, thank you in advance for whatever help we can get from all of you. So thank you so much for your time.
All right, up next, we're going to get a twofer down in Homedale Board of Ed. We have Christy O'Connor running with a running mate here, Jill Perez. Christy, we're fellow Wildcats. We are Villanova grads, and so why don't you tell us a little bit about your family and what made you get to the point where you're going to get involved now and take some time away from your family in order to run for school board.
Hi Phil, thank you for this opportunity to speak to your listeners. I am Christy O'Connor and I am running for the Homedale Board of Education along with my amazing running mate, Jill Perez. I decided to run for this position because I understand how important it is for our schools to have strong leaders, especially after these last 2 years. Our students need a safe, healthy, and appropriate learning environment where they can thrive not just academically, but mentally, socially, and physically as well. As the mother of 4 wonderful boys here in our school system, I will always work to protect parental rights because I know the choices that I make for my child might not be the right choices for someone else's child. I would love this opportunity to serve my community and to help enrich educational experiences, not just for my own children, but for all the students of Homedale.
Christy, that's amazing. You are the mom that is being echoed at every kitchen table around the state. Moms feel like they have to do something. You've decided to actually throw your hat in the ring. That is phenomenal. You are a brave woman. Thank you so much for putting it on the line. I appreciate Sean, your husband, giving you up for a little bit here to be able to run and hopefully win that seat on the Board of Ed there in Homedale. Why don't you tell us how we can get in touch with you and how we can lend some support to your campaign here in the closing days?
Sure. For more information on our campaign, you can check out our Facebook page at O'Connor and Perez for Homedale BOE, or you can check out our website and even make a donation at O'Connor and Perez for HomedaleBOE.com.
All right, another Board of Ed candidate, Ryan Cody, probably one of our biggest personalities and the biggest person. I mean, if you've met Ryan in person, he is a big guy. He certainly carries a presence. We need more dads that are going to just take on that alpha male role. Ryan is an alpha male. Listen, when you walk into a room, if you don't know who the alpha is, there is none. When you walk into a room, you know Ryan's got the room under control. Board of Ed candidate in Bordentown. He's a dad, and he is passionate for the children here to get things back to sanity. Ryan, why don't you let us know a little bit what brought you to the decision to run for Board of Ed, and then also, as you close, why don't you tell us how we can get in touch with you and your campaign and offer some support?
Phil, thank you for that introduction. Again, my name is Ryan Cody. I'm running for Bordentown Regional School District Board of Education. I live in Bordentown Township with my wife, Ashley, and my 3 kids, Faith, Joshua, we call him JJ, and Ezekiel, we call him Zeke. I work in the tech sector. I've been in the tech sector ever since I graduated from the University of Buffalo, State University of New York at Buffalo back in, we won't get into that. You can tell by the gray hair, I have some years under me. But yeah, graduated with magna cum laude with a political science degree from the University of Buffalo, and then somehow ended up in the tech sector. The reason why I decided to run for Board of Education this year is because the pandemic uncovered a lot of deficiencies that exist within our K through 12 public education system here in New Jersey. In particular, it uncovered the major power and influence that the teachers union, the NJEA, has over public education in our state. They're basically calling the shots, and they've called the shots all throughout the pandemic, from last year with the school closures to this year with the unscientific and most likely unconstitutional masking of our children. The NJEA has a ton of power, and that's probably putting it lightly, within our school districts. And I felt as though parents and children in particular, and parents and families needed to be represented and have a seat at the table when it came to making decisions that impact our child's education and also the school in general.
Hey, Ryan, remind us once again, how can we get in touch with the campaign, get some information about you, and lend you some support?
Yeah, if people want to get in touch with me, it's very easy. They could find me on social media. They could just search Facebook for Ryan Cody. They could find me on LinkedIn at Ryan Cody. I am on Twitter at Ryan for Bordentown. So it's just at Ryan number 4 Bordentown. And if anybody wants to make a contribution to my campaign, they can write a check to Ryan Cody for Bordentown Board of E. That's it. Appreciate your time. Talk to you guys really soon.
All right, moving through our Board of Ed candidates, we now have Board of Ed candidate in Pascack Valley, Eli Moallem. Eli, I have an opinion. I believe that your race is the most pivotal race. I believe power is up for grabs from the normals and the crazies. You are obviously a normal, one of the smartest people I know. I know you're bringing excellence in education to Pascack Valley. Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience and let us know the things that are most concerning to you and what sort of change you'd like to see should you get elected in this upcoming election.
Thank you so much, Phil, and thank you, Jersey Rising, for all of your support. I truly appreciate it. My name is Eli Moallem, and I am a candidate for the Pascack Valley Regional High School Board of Education. I am a father of 4. 2 of my children have gone through our town school system, and 2 are currently at the high school. I've spent the last 20 years as a youth coach, and I am a former mentor for the Big Brothers Big Sisters of New York City. I have a considerable amount of experience working with and advocating for our kids. When my family moved into Rivervale, we had some of the top-rated schools in the state. Today, we've seen our school rankings decline while their costs continue to go through the roof. As we've increased the burden of non-educational initiatives on our kids and teachers, we've seen a steady decline in the quality of their education. The leadership of our board has fully embraced the extremely political ideologies of our governor and has implemented bad policy without question. We must put an end to our kids being used as pawns. My plan is to focus on a core education with a career-oriented curriculum. Our schools need to be transformed into pathways to careers and success. We have tremendous resources in our community. We need to tap into the diverse success of our local businesses and our corporations. We can partner up with them for things like sponsorships, supplies, career guidance, as well as opportunities like internships and apprenticeships. If we want our kids to be able to raise families in towns like ours, we need to prepare them for a very competitive world. We also need to address the costs of our school. Cost per student is up 22% in the last 4 years, and that includes a year of shutdown. That is not only insane, but it's unsustainable. Our schools drive our property taxes and our home values, and I refuse to accept that we have no options. The state has created a mess with bad policy, and it's time we loudly demand that they take this burden off of our backs. I believe there are solutions to fix our school problems, and I know we can do a lot better. I am ready to bring some new ideas and a lot of energy to the Pascack Valley Board of Education. It's time to fix our schools, and I hope the good people of Rivervale give me the opportunity to pitch in. Thank you so much.
Fantastic, Eli. Thank you so much. How can we get in touch with you and support you or help in any way as we come up to Election Day?
Thank you so much, Phil. I really appreciate it. To help support our campaign, you can visit our Facebook page, which is at Eli, 4, PVBOE, or you can feel free to email us at Eli, 4, PVBOE@gmail.com. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and God bless.
And so these are our candidates. This is a great group of people. These are the ones where they want to make sure that the rising voices of New Jerseyans are being heard. And that's the whole point of this podcast. That's the whole point of the new PAC, Jersey Rising. I'm so honored to be the point man for the PAC, to take on that role, to put my face out there, to put my voice online and in a microphone and in a megaphone if needed, or just use the preacher voice and have some open air meetings. I'm glad to be able to do that. Why? Because these are the kind of candidates. These are the candidates that represent you and your values as you talk about them at the kitchen table, and yet the political class in New Jersey is completely oblivious to what is going on. They're sitting in their ivory tower, and enough is enough. These are the voices of Jersey Rising, and so get out there, get involved. I'm Philip Rizzo for the Jersey Rising podcast, making sure the rising voices of New Jerseyans are being heard. And remember, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. God bless you. Take care. We'll see you next time.